Cannonball. I like your statement. When life takes a cheap shot at you, you stand your ground. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. The world is a vampire.
I love the new Pumpkins Shiny and Bright recording. The Water Warrior is here. Hey, so I had my water tested, and I found out, and boy, talk about a quick switch here, but I had my water tested, and I'll be dead any moment, and Jen, you had your water tested, and it's bad. Apparently. Chicago water. Mm-hmm. In some neighborhoods in Chicago, we are dying 15 years. There's a block here. The block over, they're dying 15 years younger. Okay? Yeah. There are parts of this city that are so polluted. So we had the world's #1 water guy test my water in Wilmette and your water in Evanston, Jen.
Yep.
And so we have no idea. We've refused to find out what it's all about.
Right.
But we're going to find out live on the radio. That's coming up. So. This is the Water Wizard. What's your website or whatever? Do you have a website you want to mention?
H2Osample.com.
We have H2Osample.com. We have talked about how in some neighborhoods the water is so polluted in Chicago, and in fact, just pollution in general, areas of the city, people are dying 15 years sooner than other areas of the city. This is a serious thing. We talk about green this, green that. We're worried about What about polluted neighborhoods in Chicago? What about the lead in the pipes? So I live out in Wilmette. He tested my water. He spent a lot of time there, more time than I wanted him to spend. I'm going to be real honest with you. And I got to let the water run. Okay. And then he went to your place in Evanston.
Yep.
So we're going to find out live on the air
if our water's drinkable.
He hasn't told us any. We don't know.
No.
He hasn't told us. Ask him. That's my song. All right. The Water Warrior's here. Warrior, welcome.
It's great to be here.
What's your name?
Scott Smith.
Scott. That's a fake name. My name is Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. You did the testing in the Detroit water, though, right? And it was awful.
I've done testing in 10 cities throughout the country. And
how bad is Chicago water?
Well, when it comes to lead, lead problem in Chicago is worse than Flint.
And I ask our listeners to think about it. Let me just say this. This is going to sound crazy, but stay with me for a second, folks. Do you know what caused the Boston Tea Party? It was a 3% tax, and they wouldn't put up with it. We're not giving away 3% of our money. 3%. And they were ready to destroy the world over it.
Right.
Think of what we put up with, the violence and the thievery we put up with in the city. And you wonder, why aren't people feeling more? Why aren't they? You just see these zombies walking around with their mouth open. Well, that's what lead does to you. Honest to God, it shuts off your emotions. It makes you stupid. We have a lot of really emotionless, dumb, and in many cases violent people in this city. Yeah. And I wonder if it's not the water. And think of the neighborhoods where this is happening. And how does it affect you? Well, you can see the results. Okay, so you came and tested my water. I know you worked with many different disasters, the New Orleans disaster. You've been there for all of them, haven't you? That cruise ship that turned over, I know you were part of that as well, cleaning that up.
Yeah, and I noticed that when we went to dinner, you were glowing in the dark a little bit. I think I know why now.
Uh-oh. Tell me, how bad is my water?
All kidding aside.
I live in Wilmette, yes.
All kidding aside, we as a country need to start talking about water. There's no need to panic. You can resolve it. I tested. We find Legionella in my work with union plumbers all over the country, and now we're ramping up with Local 130 here. We routinely find...
Legionella, by the way, is also the name of my favorite French stripper.
Well, I have never detected Legionella in any residences. The first 2 detections for Legionella are in your homes.
Wow.
And how bad is Legionella? And how bad is it?
Legionella, if you're not immunocompromised, now it's nothing to panic about, but we need to follow up with this and figure out what's going on.
So we have Legionella disease in our pipes.
Legionella's disease is caused by one strain. There are 58 different species. Some are not, harmful. And if you are a healthy person, if you don't have, not immunocompromised, you're probably going to be okay.
Okay, what about my, I have a Berkey water filter. The best I've heard is the filter working.
We measure bacteria levels by a plate count. Post-filter, you were 29,000. Pre-filter, you were 8,000.
80,000.
Eight. You went up by it increased the bacteria by a factor of 3 post-filter.
So wait a minute.
Wait, stop. So what does that mean? You're telling me the filtered water, it's polluting the water?
You do have bacteria multiplying, post-filter. And you have Legionella in your cold sink water, and you have Legionella post-filter.
Post-filter. So the filter's not taking out the Legionella. And it's
What about lead?
Lead? First of all, the good news, both of your homes, zero to non.
That's the big one, right? We don't want lead. Is our water undrinkable?
All water is drinkable. It's just, there's no such thing as safe water. We take risks in every day. You take risk every time you take a drink of water.
Would you drink my water?
Yes.
Okay.
Lead in the water.
The latest on the Mueller report. We'll have that coming up for you. 5 sleep myths. Did you get a good night's sleep last night?
So far, results from 50.
The 5 myths that you believe about sleep that aren't true, and more with the Water Warrior. And we'll just...
The Mancow. The Mancow.
All right, the Water Warrior is here, and he's a water tester, but he's also an adult film star. And welcome to the program. Your name is, sir?
Scott Smith.
Why do you give a shit about water? Seriously, what the why do you care?
My life and business was wiped out in oil-contaminated waters in 2006.
What are you talking about? Why?
There was a huge flood in upstate New York where I owned a factory at the time.
Mueller report. So then you decided to dedicate your life to clean water.
Yep. I liquidated everything I had and just
this cruise ship, you told me an interesting story. We were at Depot Nuevo. You ever been there, Jen? Mexican restaurant near my house?
Yep.
Depot Nuevo. Anyway, we went. Did I take care of you or not?
Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Great
Fun
food.
Night. Great food.
Okay. So anyway, a cruise ship, he told me, turned over in Italy. Remember the captain was waving to people on shore, and he capsized this giant cruise ship. What was the company's name?
Costa Concordia.
Okay. So he was flown out there to help with the cleanup in Italy. It's a tough gig. He loved it. But it wasn't what people thought. What were you cleaning up there?
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
There's like tens of thousands of gallons of olive oil or something like that. And
they were cooking with it.
Yeah, and olive oil doesn't hurt us, but that's a major marine sanctuary there. And in olive oil, what it does is it blocks the sunlight, and fish literally.
So the olive oil on top of the water blocks the sunlight, and the fish die.
That's terrible.
So he had to clean that up, and he figured out a way to do it. So you tested my water in Wilmette in one sentence. Tell me what you found out.
Metals within regulations, the ones that exist. Volatile chemicals within regulations that exist.
Okay. Yes? Bacteria?
A problem.
Okay. Jen's water in Evanston.
Same. Metals within regulations that exist. Volatiles within regulations that exist. Bacteria, a problem.
What's your website for people that want to find out about how to get their water tested?
H2Osample.com.
H2Osample.com. Now, what do you recommend? Is there a filter you recommend? Is there something I could hook to my system?
Right? Do I have to boil my water before I cook with it? I mean...
when I say it's a problem, it means there's a lot of bacterial activity that includes good and bad.
Yeah.
And the concerning thing is we detected Legionella. It could be one of 58 species, and some questions need to be asked of your water providers and what kind of filtering systems. Because the concerning thing is all the homes in East Chicago, Indiana, right down the street, same source. No Legionella. I really didn't expect to see Legionella in residents.
Bottled water, good or not to drink?
Is
it dirtier than tap water? Bottled water?
There are studies out there where it's dirtier and some is cleaner. And there's a whole host of issues in a plastic bottle. In water, it's a very complicated subject.
I love Fiji water. I just love it. It's so tasty.
But the plastic bottles have the BPs, right?
Well, the BPs and plasticizers, and in heat, they leach out. So
suck. Your website again?
H2Osample.com.
And your name's Jerry Lymanwood?
Scott Smith.
Oh.
Cannonball, I like your statement. When life takes a cheap shot at you, you stand your ground. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. The world is a vampire.